Hi YouTube, this is Jilly. Hi, my name is Jilly. I'm a spiritual and meditative artist and I draw every day. And I also love to paint. Now what I'm showing here is a completely blank canvas. It's an 8x10. And I love to do coffee painting, which I've been showing a lot of people. I make a thick, looks very messy, coffee mixture. It's actually hardening up. I made it with this batch with instant coffee and real brewed coffee. So I made it extra thick. But I wanted to show a technique that my mentor taught me years ago. And lots of times when I do my Jilly art, and hi everybody, I hope you're doing well today. Thank you for everybody watching my videos, looking on my Jilly's Art Facebook. It's really exciting. So I want to show this technique because I've shown how I start different paintings and how I add to them and what I do in blending with my beautiful coffee. This deer is kind of coming along nicely. The coffee's really hardening up too. So I want to show a technique. So I have some metallic pouring paint that I've never really used much of the pouring paint, but what I looked up is it's acrylic. And it's a little thinner than acrylic paint. So I just put a little bit right on the canvas, okay? And I took a nice thick brush that's already been wetted down with a little bit of water. And I just go over. Now this is really just fun. If you just feel like painting, you don't really feel like thinking. And this is an 8x10 canvas. So the pouring paint I'm finding, I'm really liking because it's easy to move around. But the canvas has been pre-treated. The other day I said I think it's kind of like a white gesso. I'm not exactly sure. I didn't do it. I bought it pre-treated, but you know, it's absorbent a little bit. The nice canvases that I like to get are absorbent. So you have this gold paint. Sometimes you can do it with oil paint too. And you take it and you just lightly go back and forth on the canvas. And what happens is the canvas starts absorbing the paint and starts kind of, I don't know what the word would be, marrying, melding with the paint and the canvas. I've noticed that with the coffee painting too, how the canvas kind of absorbs the beautiful color of the coffee paint and of the coffee that I'm using. So the canvas works with the coffee. It's not just staying on the surface, it's absorbing into it. So this is what I was taught. So you go over the whole canvas. I'll paint the sides too, but I won't do it in this video. And you go back and forth with a nice soft brush. Some of my brushes are really old. I was saying the other day I've had them for, gosh, over 30 years. I remember taking an oil painting class years and years ago. And I still have a lot of the brushes, or all of them. I've actually never gotten rid of one brush. So here we go. So I'm just going back and forth. And the pouring paint can be a little thinner than other paints, but you can see it starting to make like a groove. Almost like if I wanted to, I could probably create a painting of trees. You know, I could start going in and creating a painting of trees if I really wanted to maybe do something fun like that. But I'm not going to do that. I have something in mind that I want to paint. I'll show it in my next YouTube that has been in my backyard. But I'm just going back and forth with the pouring paint. See how it starts drying and it makes like lines? The oil paint doesn't really do that. It kind of blends in as one look. I mean, you could do a lot of different things with paint. If you wanted to make it streaky too, the oil paint, you could. But so I'm lightly going over. When I first started doing my daily drawings I had talked about in a YouTube yesterday, I was drawing with a pen and then filling in color. And what my mentor said was I had a heavy hand, which I did and I still do. When I paint, I kind of like to push down on the canvas because I like to kind of feel what I'm doing. But what I've learned over the years is having a heavy hand doesn't always make the greatest paintings. When I'm painting and drawing too, it's nice to have a nice light hand at times and not push so hard down. Let the paint move on its own, get a little bit lighter, lighten up with all of it. Kind of like in life. Oh, the metaphors. But see how it's just kind of, it's almost kind of disappearing. I might do another layer. I'm not really sure. But okay, so we're going back and forth. We're going up and down, up and down. And then what they taught me was kind of make the lines all straight. If you can, go up and down, okay, as straight as you can. You don't have to be crazy about it. And then start from the side and lightly go back and forth. So some oil paintings that I have and acrylic paintings that I have, I've used this kind of prepping technique before I sketch in what I want to paint. I let this dry for, acrylic's going to dry faster than oil, so this probably won't have a lot of long drying time, maybe even just a couple of hours. Go back and forth, almost like you're weaving the paint in. And sometimes when I'm painting with acrylic, it dries as I'm painting. So the pouring paint's a little thinner so it doesn't dry as fast. But I did want to show one more thing with this technique. So when my mentor taught me how to do this, it was with oil paint on a very large canvas. And it took a long time, okay? Because what you want to do is you want to really have that paint absorbed into the canvas. So they had me going back and forth over and over and over again, back and forth on the canvas, going back. And see, you can almost see the sheen of it coming out now. I can see it. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it happens kind of like in front of your eyes where maybe it's creating like, I don't know, like pockets of paint. But it looks so beautiful. I mean, in person, it actually looks even more beautiful than it does on camera. The camera kind of picks up on the lines. But one of the things that my mentor taught me also is once you have that canvas primed with the gold paint, you can take another color. So I thought maybe I could take like a little tiny bit of coffee paint and marry that into a portion of what I'm doing. Now it's going to look like I'm really messing up I'm going to take a little bit of water and go into that coffee paint. And now it's getting kind of watery, and then what it does is it adds another dimension of color into the priming. So it's not just a gold background. There's a little bit more of a hue, and I have done it with oil paint, adding in a tiny little bit of green, maybe some I think it's called burnt umber, which is like a beautiful color in nature, kind of like an orangey kind of color. So with this canvas starting, now look at this on the sides, the paint's dripping. I'm just going right along the side. So the paint came down and I'm just going right along the sides. But I wanted to show that kind of addition of color and let you see how beautiful it can be to just add. Now look, it looks like it's a lot of pigmentation, well at least it does to me. But when you start painting it in and you start marrying that with the gold, it starts kind of just blending in. And the eye will pick up on color. That's one of the reasons that you do a background lots of times, is to give that painting some depth and some color. So this is just really fun. And look how that kind of like pinky color kind of just disappeared into the canvas. So I'll add a little bit over here. The coffee's a little clumpy there, but you want to keep that line. You want to try to keep it straight if you can. I have been watching different teaching videos on doing these beautiful trees with like backgrounds and rays of light coming down. And I think that maybe that's something one day I want to try to do. I haven't done a lot of landscaping. I do more subjects in my painting, excuse me. But I don't know. I kind of like it. What do you think? A little bit different today. I have so many painting ideas. My imagination is limitless, and things that I can show that are actually really priceless techniques in painting. So I don't have one particular way that I paint. I do it all different ways. It's really how I'm feeling that day, and what I want to have come out of my painting, what I'd like to see come out of my painting too. So this painting might be a little bit more thought out, but we will let this primer, this acrylic metallic paint dry. And I'm glad I got to show everybody. I hope someone, if they're thinking about painting, possibly tries this. And the pouring metallic paints come in big containers, and you can buy it at different craft shops, and a little goes a long way. So that nice shiny gold really can add a lot to your painting without, you know, breaking the bank with expensive gold metallics, because I can remember buying gold metallic paint and having it be super expensive. And I was really excited to see this pouring metallic paint. And I've watched some different pouring videos too, where they pour the paint all over, I think it's a canvas, I'm not really sure, I don't know, I've never done it. And then they kind of rock the painting back and forth, and it comes out with like a beautiful wave and marbled, and I think it's beautiful. I really love it. Maybe I'll try it. But the pouring paint is thinner, so it moves around the canvas easier. I think it's a great idea. Why not, right? So let's see what happens with this with the drying time. And we'll do another painting. I don't know if I'll do it today or tomorrow, but I went a little long with this video. I think it's kind of cool. The things that bring me joy. Have a wonderful day. Love, love, Jilly.